Joanna, to me, this event is really about the chips more than the machines themselves, because in a way, I mean, these are higher end, so they're going to be lower volume, though the profits are likely to be nice. But we're going to get a look, probably a better look, at Apple's premium level ambitions for its homegrown chips, right?
Absolutely right. All about the chips. Wish I'd brought a bag of chips or something on to talk about the excitement about chips today. I think we should all take a bet. How long is Apple going to spend talking about the speeds and feeds and the actual silicon today? My guess is at least 15 minutes. And I think that is all about their excitement, their want to push of their own synergy between the software, obviously the hardware, and the services. But now with that silicon being able to really take on the Intels and these other PC manufacturers who are reliant on their partners like Intel and AMD.
Now, we're used to the Mac sort of getting some ideas, some features from the mobile side, from the iPhone, bringing the App Store to the Mac, bringing chips, homegrown chips to the Mac. But now it seems like performance-wise, Apple is doing some stuff on the Mac side that's then migrating back to mobile, particularly in the iPad side. So what do investors really need to pay attention to on the engineering side to get a sense of whether Apple's got a significant long-term advantage here?
I think, well, we are seeing that, but I think in the Macs, that's where there's this sort of renewed energy, because that is the system where you want, these are the systems where you want that power, where that power and Apple's ability to say, hey, we can be hugely dominant in this space where the PC manufacturers can't be, is an interesting way, right? Is an interesting way ahead. Yes, certainly we'll see stuff come back to the iPad. Some of the graphics improvements, I think a lot of the push around things like AR and sort of the VR immersive type of content, not going to be helpful on a Mac, where you're pushing on those iPads or some of those more interactive graphics high-end features.
Joanna, we're looking at, we were just talking about lead times on iPhone, and just as a way to look at supply in general through the lens of how long you have to wait to get a new model of the 13, it's getting a little bit better, but it's still, you know, a couple of weeks at least. I wonder, do you think they're going to comment on how supply is impacting them?
I don't think they're going to comment on it, and I think that these systems, what we're expecting today is a 14-inch, 16-inch MacBook Pro. I assume those will be available for pre-order in the next couple of days and then shipping in a couple of weeks or next week, just like the usual Apple cycle. I think we won't actually know until we see those shipping times delay or push back. I think a lot of people are going to rush to sort of buy these because of that fear. Plus also just a lot of pent-up demand for these MacBook Pros from the enthusiast community. Everyone on Twitter, sort of the tech Twitter, is excited about very unique features, SD card slots coming back. The idea that MagSafe charging might come back. So I think we're going to see some of the excitement from those early adopters really quite quickly out of the gate for sales.
Yeah, there's been a lot of enthusiasm, Joanna, and if they've listened to the community, you can imagine the excitement to follow as well. But I want you to put this sort of in the context of the privacy changes that we've seen Apple implement, and it's increased its share of the mobile app advertising business, which has been interesting. How might laptops or any announcements today play into that?
Hard to say. I mean, obviously, push around the App Store has been big for Apple. Some of the stuff we've seen in the last couple of weeks talking about that, the privacy changes made to iOS 14.5, how that's impacting Apple as advertisers try to move towards App Store promotions, because that's really the only in they have on the iPhone. Not really the case on Mac, right? Still, they've really been trying to build the Mac App Store, especially around these new chips last year, where they were really touting, hey, you can get iPhone apps, iPad apps on your Mac. That wasn't so successful. I have been using an M1 Mac for the last year, and honestly, I never use an iPad or iPhone app on here. So I think on the Mac side, that's a little bit of a hazier territory than iPad or iPhone.